Welcome. This will be the 4 p.m. Give us 5 minutes and we'll be doing the 3, 2, 1. But for now, it's time to start welcoming people in with a bit of preamble as we build up to the beginning of our sway and stretch. Sway routine is on day 3 today. I'm Kels from the bedroom, not Bex from any old random car park around the UK or service station. Got a few home creature comforts in this house. Unlike Bex, who hasn't even got a chair really to sit on to do a movement snack with. But you've got to give it to her, haven't you? Now that's dedication to movement snacking for sure. She has been the most intrepid reporter out of myself, Dave and her this year, well, last year really, as well as into this year. She's been the bestest. She's had the, well, not the best locations, but the most make-do type locations is where Bex has been presenting the movement snack from. We'll take it. Anywhere is good, and it just shows you the beauty of movement snacking on the go. It's like chuck it in your backpack, off you go, pile it into your car, take it with you, do a bit of movement snacking in the car, out the car, half in or out the car, as Bex has been doing, when you're walking around, when you're on public transport, where you're just idly standing in a queue, which is what we do occasionally, isn't it? Afternoon, Ken, afternoon, Chris, and afternoon to you, Vivian and Paul. Ken, you've been looking at my footwork, have you? You're not the only one. Jack is obsessed with my tap shoes. If you remember, Jack is that honey monster type guy that came on to our movement snack and said hi to you lot first. First time maybe a month or so ago he came on. But yeah, he loves a tap shoe. That's been well established today. Carol Kent's tap dancing into the snack. Get your shuffle, hop down, tap spring in. Your preparations for wings, which is where you have to have quite floppy and loose, flexibilised and mobile ankles to do some of those moves. Yeah. Ken, there's always room for improvement as far as footwork goes. Start seated, start small, think big. Right, Red Rita's in for a daily dose of 4 p.m. About 15-20 minutes or so worth of extra movement minutes right here up for grabs. And you can, of course, take as little, do as little, although we urge you to do that little bit more, or take as much as you want from each and every snack that we deliver. Afternoon, George. Is it a sunny day in Cruden Bay? Sun's just setting. It'd be nice to see the sun setting, but unfortunately we haven't got one today. It's under the clouds somewhere. Odil's here to join us. Vivian's just finished a catch up on the noon, Bex's noon, from a random car park service station somewhere in the UK. We need to do like a Where's Wally, but a Where's Bexy. Ah, there she is. Right, Maddie's got some work going on at her house. Sorting out the garden ramp. Good stuff. You don't want a rotten garden ramp to roll down, do you, in your chair? There's a bit of noise going on in the background though. Just copy, you don't have to listen. Odil's reporting a bit grey and drizzly down in Cambridge. Yeah, it's not frozen. We had a bit of frozen fog last night as we drove home from footy practice, but luckily my lot were indoors, so we didn't get too cold at all. Right, everyone, there's a catch up of everybody's day before we've even caught up with the movement snack. So let's get going. 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon. It's 4 p.m. It's time to get going into our Circ Boost, sway routine, stretch routine. Afternoon to you, Pat, as well. You're with me, Kelsey Leverton from Later Life Training. and today is Wednesday the 25th of January 2023. Right, come on, let's have you up or in your chair, sitting up tall, focusing a bit on posture before we start to set off into our Cirque boost. Right, I've got to go now. Let's move. How's that looking? Right, up tall, lengthen through, proudly standing up, lengthening through your spine, the neck, the shoulders go the other way. They're allowed to go down. Everything else, we want lifting, lengthening. Legs underneath you, so not too wide nor too narrow with your standing position. Same in seated, about hip distance apart with your feet. Travel forwards with a few hip walks if you need to readjust. Oh, creaky, creaky, that's not my hips. It is actually the chair. Yeah, so hip distance apart, ankles underneath the knees here. Look for right angles. Right angle at the foot when it's flat, at the knee, at the hip, into your trunk. If we hold our posture more open but comfortably, then we give our breathing a little bit more space. Our lungs can expand a little bit more, our rib cage will expand a little bit more, and we'll take a bit more oxygen in per breath. Leg marches. Small lift of the knee, not too much. Keep it rhythmical and flowing. It's got a nice little a patter of movement here that doesn't feel too rapid, and also it isn't too slow to spend too much time on the one leg. It's got a flow to it. Add an arm swing in. Get the upper body involved best you can. If you can, add in that second arm. Let go of your support completely. If any coordination starts to get the better of you, take the arms out or just bring a hand down to your external support. Keep going. In seated, your trunk is going to need to work even harder here to allow your arms and legs to move around the solid, strong structure that we've got around the midriff. Keep going. You should feel a steady increase of body temperature, a steady increase of heart rate, although it's not beating 10 to the dozen, and also a steady increase through your breathing. Deeper breaths, longer breaths to maintain this level of movement. I'm going to need to go and get it after I've done the movement snack. And relax there. Okay, so we're on to our sway routine. So just have a little bit of a fidget if you need to. Readjust your feet. Make sure that you're comfortable in your stand. And all we did was focus on some really deep breaths in. And then a little huff. And then starting again. So the arm movements last. The length of your inwards, here's the inwards, in through the nose and out through the mouth. So at the top end of breathing in and at the bottom end of breathing out, you shouldn't feel like you've ran out of breath to breathe in or breathe out. Try and keep that steadily moving, a continuous pattern, a continuous flow, an ouroboros circular motion of breathing. Take a pause there and bring your palms to face one another. Same in seated, by the way. Just follow these arm movements through. Push away, swish your arm and bring the palm back in. Push away. And we're going to just add that breathing pattern. Just let that outward breath push out And then you'll feel it just slowing down as you run out of the outward breath. Right, take a pause there. Now we're going to add an extra little bit of movement to this. If you would like, this will challenge your balance. So those of you who are challenged in your balance, you might want to do the heel raise, but with one arm moving through that upwards and downwards pattern. If you are not holding on, toes are cricking, keeping me in balance, my balance in check. Get the weight over your big toe. Like I say, if that's too much of a balance challenge, just go through with a bit of external support. That should make things less wobbly, more stable. And here in seated, we've just got some seated heel raises. Now on the last one, whatever one you're doing, just adjust your feet, bring the palms inwards, and then we're going to start with a sway to side. And this is just a change of weight distribution through your hips if you're sat down. Get ready, push away and back in, including with your breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Slow your legs movements down to follow the length of each inward and outward breath. Couple more there. We'll take this once more through from the top. Bring your feet a little bit closer together. It's much harder to do a wider heel raise than it is to do a heel raise when your legs are underneath you. Take up your support as you choose to, as you need to. You might want to swap sides from one side to the other. You might want to have a go at one or two heel raises without your support. I'm just going to do one of each. Relax your feet, flat on the floor, a little bit wider, palms facing in. Here's your inwards breath. And there's your outward breath. Shift and a transfer of weight side to side. Continuous flow of movement. One more on each side, and then we've got our stretchy positions to come into. Relax there. All right. Now we're going to do a standing calf stretch as we progress and move through this movement snack. There will be a seated option coming up, and then if we all go into seated for the remainder of our stretches, we can just enjoy a seated position, a little bit of switched offedness and a bit more of a supported position whilst we stretch. Hands onto something around hip height or the wall. Stride one leg back. Readjust your front foot as you need to and check that all 10 of your toes are pointing directly forwards. Your hips are forwards as well, and there we go into a front knee bend with the back leg straight. Into seated. The position in your chair is crucial here. If we are unable to get our leg as straight as possible, then we might struggle to get some of the stretch that we need from the calf stretch, or equally from the back of thigh stretch when we get to it. Just sit up tall. Feel that stretch sensation. Notice how tight it feels in those early few seconds of the stretch. And then as we hold it just for that increasing amount of time, just notice if it starts to ease off a little bit. And if it does, try and pull it into that stretch position again. Relax, recover, change sides. Have a little bit of a readjustment of your sit position. Heels just resting down, toes are pulling up. Check your back foot on your split stance standing stretch, because often the back foot can have a habit of doing what it likes, and that will change what we feel in relation to the stretch. So this, keeping the toes forwards, gets it right on the button. Relax there. All right, those of you who've just finished that stretching standing, have a little sit down, perch onto the edge of a chair, edge of a table that you can perch onto, your sofa or an armchair. Leg out straight. We'll go for the back of thigh stretch, but this is with a loose ankle. Look, a loose, waggly, flappy ankle on the end. Lifting up and then tilting into it. Just being mindful of your posture. Where's your chest? Is it lifted? Where's your head? Where are your shoulders? Are they backing down or are they rounding over? What's happening around here at the trunk as well? Can you feel what's gone on with your pelvic tilt as you lift out of your hips, lengthen and lean? And more importantly, where can you feel the stretch? Press a bit further, increase, 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 and increase the successibility of getting down to your feet and lower levels. Changing sides then. Now, a long stretch, although in general terms of time, 30 seconds isn't really that long, it's classed as a longer stretch in the world of stretches. Loose ankle, loose knee, leaning into it, feeling that through the back of the leg, stretching the muscles that typically get that little bit tighter than other muscle groups. Tightness in muscles can have an effect on joint mobility, the angles and the movements available at the joint, so it's good to keep the body supple. Right, chest. So let's track the arms back, pin the shoulders, lift the chest, like someone's just got you by the scruff of your neck and just making you come up tall to look them in the eye. Now we're going to do a little bit of a flexibility reach check now. It's associated with your shoulder mobility. I'm going to stand up and just show you this, but hold the stretch a little bit longer, stay where you are, freeze. In a moment you're going to relax out of the stretch and you're just going to check where you can reach your arm to and then come out of it. Don't force it, just see how far. You probably get it round to the top of your bottom. Can you get it to the lower back? Can you get it any much higher without it becoming really uncomfortable? A little bit of discomfort's okay, but distinguish what's discomfort and what's tweaking into pain. Just have a little check of how far you can reach up your own back there. We'll do the opposite movement now, up and over. So check in how far you can reach over your shoulder, lifting the elbow. It helps to reach that little bit further up and back. Where can you reach to? Have you got the back of your head, top of your head, back of your head? Can you only reach the shoulder, or can you reach over the back end of your shoulder a bit more? Where's your limit there? Keep lifting and lengthening. If you don't want to go for the full arm stretch, if your elbow's a little bit lower, then hold that part a bit longer. If you're ready, stretching up, extra reach and recover. Just a short extra jumper rooking up reach there. Let's go on to the other side. One side is bound to feel just that little bit more sticky and tighter than the other. I'm going to say that it's the second arm that you've chosen. Generally we pick our most dominant or our best side first. Lifting up and straightening up, reaching up and relax down. There we have you. Right, reorganise clothing. Oh, say ta-ra to you lot, and I'll see you bright and early for the 8 a.m. where we go round the snacks again tomorrow. Thanks everyone. See you later. Have a lovely evening.